we can pick up from where we left off. We are talking about an average young adult who has lived through life the way it has presented itself to him or her, and now is at a point where age is catching up and they must make a decision based on the pieces that they've gathered, whether they are from a broken home, a principled home, or they are from a background that is high and intellectually apt and has taken them to a bandwidth of universities and colleges within and outside countries. They still have to make the basic decisions of life, of whether it is marriage related, it is choice of career, it is who to talk to, who to remain friends with, who to go past and around. And all those are decisions that haunt every young person. And they have to mature into this adult who sounds like they have a direction and purpose. And how do they make that decision? And that's assuming they have missed a few out of the 5 pillars of...
Yeah, about 5 or 2.
Yes, how do they do that?
Okay, so we have a lot of people at different ages, but I'm also trying to get the behind pictures of why such is happening. Sometimes maybe it's God puts us in the classes and a lot of classrooms that we come into contact with. We first in these classes, and then the only place where you can learn God's school is through this body. So we have a lot of areas that we are learning the life that God gave us, and through different struggles. Others is how to just handle marriages. Others is just how to handle street life. Others is just how to handle, bush life. Because if you are to take it back before civilization, they tell us that we are not having these kind of houses before, not having these kind of cameras before. So we have that, if you take it on the not neutral place, you discover to say we living in the bush. And then therefore we are discovering things from the trees, we discover from the rocks, we discover from the sun energies. You discover a lot of areas where you become an expert of a life that a person comes to learn from. So you can find out that you discover how to make a bench, and someone comes to a school of how do you call those? Carpentry. So I think these are the type of how I understand life in different facets, and yeah. So
now that you see, you in all your explanations, you keep saying something that strikes me as a naturalistic view.
Oh yeah.
You keep going back to energies, sun, earth, the three things that are God given to everyone unconditionally. And you are building a context in which from these, the sun, the trees and everything,
yes,
we sort of express things like carpentry, make a table out of wood, with our flesh and body that we were given. So God-given things that we get, harness and create and expand.
Absolutely.
All right. So now if we look at that and we look at our current life, which mostly people are on their phones, they are trying to fabricate this. So we have made progress, and now technology has kicked in, and now we are, how do we phase technology into a naturalistic view in which when I'm making my videos on TikTok, when I am on social media, whichever other social media, and interacting with a virtual world, how then am I supposed to get that virtual world and anchor it onto my realistic world? Because if I'm looking at a tree on a camera, it's not the same as being under a tree. The feeling, the breeze, the wind, that would it be that the lack of touch with the natural environment is also distancing us from God?
I think one experience that one lesson I've learned from my experience is that I think we have not brought the reality out first before us getting into the new. And then we're not getting into the new with the reality. We're not coming into the new with the real us. And there's a lot of, how do you call it, faking. There's a lot of faking, and there's a lot of, hiding.
What is this reality?
Background. So I think reality is the way it is.
Such as?
Such as the way we are here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, let's take, for instance, you see people that are living luxury right now in the social medias. Technology has kept a lot of things hiding. You find people would not tell you exactly how they're experiencing their life, so that you can learn from the reality, but they will give you a picture of how they are then, maybe living well, drinking well, having good phones, maybe, behind the cameras. You understand that kind of life?
But that was what kings used to do. Take for example, imagine Nebuchadnezzar and how the society used to look at him, versus when they finally realized that he was on his path to go and eat grass. So everyone in the king's court was building up the process, and while the prophets were warning him, there was that small cohort that knew.
And then you see now the picture, right? So the prophets are the sons of God.
Mm-hmm.
Not that these ones are not sons of God, but
yes.
these ones have rebelled from the house of the Father.
Yes, yes.
Meaning they've gone in the world of, technology.
Yes.
They've discovered the magics.
Yes.
So, but these ones are coming with the reality, the natural, the truth.
Yes.
The foundations. Now these ones, that's why you find that these ones could not even. One time Jeremiah would complain and tell God, he was praying one time in Jeremiah chapter 12. He's crying out to God. He says, God, why are these guys prospering? And me and my...
That's a good question. Even nowadays it applies.
I mean, a lot of people say people are prospering, but the church is not prospering.
Yeah.
You find the churches now will tell you, receive your miracle, and nothing is happening. But go to Bill Gates. These guys are making money. If now you see you are standing in competition with the life of this person who has made money, and that money is represented by a paper. And that paper is from the tree, which all of us, we have the tree. But why can't you make your own trees and cut your own trees and make the papers? You can't do that. Well, because we're in the system
that has rules that prohibit you.
That's why there are numbers there that have tied it to some lines of. So if you are not able to find that money, you are bound.
Yes, but then
now we found that the places where the foods were, people have hijacked those places, farms, lands, fruit areas. They're in the hands of people now. So those ones who cannot have power to possess it, they're living in the corner bush. For them to find those fruits, they want to find them from your hands.
They're back in Babylon.
And now they'll be told, say, go get cut paper and get the fruit. But this was for free. I can't have the cows which was on the mountain now, 1,000, cows that were on the mountain for my father. I can't find them now. Why? Because they're in the hands of people who tells me, look for the paper.
Yes, that also speaks to wildlife specifically, because the wildlife is still wildlife, but somehow it has been possessed by state, and then you're not allowed to hunt, even to eat, without a permission from the state. And I did another video about that, but that's the logic behind it. But that the understanding of the problem does not still give us a solution.
Yeah.
So which brings us to, we are still stuck in the system, and we still have to make decisions now. And even if you and I could drum up a revolution and say everyone must realize that this is a facade, a fake environment that everyone is creating, in which they must now come out of and be their true selves. If we get that and we manage to achieve that, we still have another 20, 50 years through which we are transitioning from point A to point B, going back to Eden in our minds and activities and actions, while we are fighting the system, which always has rebellious people with intent who will fight to maintain it. Now, my question is, in this system as it currently is at the moment, how is someone supposed to do that living, those choices? Because we cannot change that tomorrow. We still have to chase that paper. We still have to, even everything is transacted in money. So can we discuss how the person is going to decide should people decide tomorrow not to wear clothes anymore? Should they decide not to live in houses anymore? Because we can do that. We can all sleep on the street. We can all not wear clothes, and we will have half our expenses will be cut down. We can decide to start beating drums again to communicate and not have to have cell phones. We will communicate for a certain distance, but we won't be able to talk to someone in a different district or province.
Yes. So are you seeing also this one? The part of where if we say we can also maybe cut this kind of addressing and just live in a common and maybe using drums.
Yes.
I think this is somewhere where we're not. This is not what we're talking about. We are not talking from the angle of why natural. Naturally, yes, it can be a poor state. You understand? Where you are just naked, no phones, and you throw the phones and you throw the vehicles. But we're talking about growing out of the natural. We catch the technology of our Father.
Okay. So, and how do we do that?
That is what I'm trying to mention. Where the point, if you want to communicate with me, where you are, I'll be able to know what you are planning and doing, and I'm landing to your house. I provide your services. I do whatever you say you want me to do. Then off I go, and off my cash is in my phone. You understand? But you're talking about the technology of where I have your number. Right? Until I find you, I get your line, I find out what you're doing, then I call you. Sir, can I come? And say, no, today don't come. That will be a difficult state. So
let me just get this clear. Are we going all the way to extrasensory perception, telekinesis, and having a connection in a spiritual form across several lands, like how God knows what we're feeling and thinking? That way, we also can equally know what's happening in a different place of the world.
Exactly. Paul says it also in the Bible. He mentions, and just forgotten the scripture, he mentions of, it says, 1 Corinthians chapter 13, it says, a time will come, prophecy will pass away, but it will come to a perfection where we will not have prophecy in bits, we'll have prophecy in all. Like, if you are going to be possessed with the spirit of prophesying, you will not tell me I see this. You just tell me, let's go. Where? Just going. Here, a car. I'll be like, wow. But no, I thought it because God taught me there. You understand? So these are progressions that I'm looking at by the Spirit of the Father. Where in the experience of our growth. Now, I mentioned one time as I'm concluding on this part, as I undertold you, is that the world system is developing the lands, but God's Spirit is developing the human soul.
Okay.
Yeah.
How do you think everyone can feel that development?
Now, that has to come only through my schools. That's why I'm an apostle.
Okay. So people have to learn to feel.
Yeah.
That to feel that process.
Yeah, it's also even simple to do that. I've done this, I've tried this before.
Okay.
And mostly what my challenge is, but sometimes when I'm communicating to others, they don't feel it. Others will be responding, but they don't know which energy is calling them.
Okay. I completely understand that. But I actually was of the idea that everyone is born with the ability to actually connect and feel that. So I'm there now, and I still, in a way, in an argumentative sense, I actually do believe everyone has it. The question is, what can you say buries it to a point that you have to go through the process to unbury it?
Yes.
Because before your school of prophecy and everything else started, there was people who could directly from the Father, and they could. So then it means there should be something we are doing that's holding that back.
I think they said it goes back to the times where, Africa has been called a lot of names, and that hurts a lot to a place where and you understand what I'm talking about.
Yes. Yeah.
It hurts a lot sometimes, even when you see names that comes in English. What did you say? We're going back to ancestral, whatever. I failed to even find the right words, but I just know it by experience. I know this is wealthy. when I just feel it, right, I'm sitting like this, I said, if this was to be communicated to everyone, wow, Zambia will be civilized. The point that we become, you know, a world that is not visited by anyone, but we know where everyone is.
Yes, I hear you completely. The question is, why doesn't everyone else hear you directly like that? Because I would like to believe that I understand what you're talking about. I would also like to believe that I actually have perceived what you're talking about. But I haven't been through your school.
Okay.
Which means that there is many other ways, and there should be a reason why other people are hindered from seeing it. I would like to know if you have come up with a theory as to what. I think that they're distracted.
I think I've come to an understanding of, you know, dominancy. And I think one thing is these elements such as greedy, selfishness, you know, over possession, how do you call that?
Yes, over possessiveness of things and of people and of concepts, of ideas and all that. Rigid ideas.
Exactly. So I think it has to go to the place of learning who goes with you, learning the kind of type. That's what they call family, right? So
we're not speaking blood and biology.
No, not blood and this goes. When you hear word family, it's not go with blood and something. No, because if you take it straight to the source, we are all one spirit, existing in these forms. So we have to understand from that part.
The reason I'm laughing is because I only understood what you said now about one spirit existing in different forms, not from a Christian origin. I understood it from the Hindu concept of Brahma.
But it's there in the Bible. People don't read it.
Yes, you have a reference point, so then we clarify.
Yeah. I have it as we're speaking. Let me tell you.
Okay. We'll add it on the next part. That's that. But but the idea of one spirit is that the way the biblical reference I can say is, in the beginning there was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God, and through him everything was formed. So if you just look at that beginning context, you will easily see that everything that was made out of him and of him. So he is him.
Wow.
So I actually find it very troubling when people imply that when you are a sinner, you have gone away from God. You cannot live and not be of God. For life in everyone is God, and this breath of God. If you coming from the breath, you're coming from the word that you are formed by. Everything that forms everything in a spiritual context is from God and is of God. That's why there is grace and unconditional love, because all are his children, including the sinners.
Exactly.
And there is no such thing that you are existing and you are not of God. Wow. So even the sinner then has to be loved. And in that case, we go back to what you said. We all, if you look at it, when you talk about family, we all come from the source. But then there is the great deal of free will, which then gives us our digressions. And let's stop there for today.
Madness, attention deficient, insanity.
We speak for the 100 silent voices
and embrace everyone as one.